Tonight, we're very pleased to have Dr. John P. Holdren, Assistant to President Barack Obama for Science and Technology, as our speaker for the commencement ceremony. Dr. Holdren also serves as Director of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy and co-chair of the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. He holds advanced degrees in aerospace engineering and theoretical plasma physics from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Stanford University. Prior to joining the Obama administration, Dr. Holdren was a professor in both the Kennedy School of Government and the Department of Earth and Planetary Sciences at Harvard University. And from 1973 to 1996, he served on the faculty of the University of California at Berkeley. Dr. Holdren is a member of the U.S. National Academy of Sciences, U.S. National Academy of Engineering, the American Philosophical Society, and the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. During both Clinton administration terms, he was on the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. Dr. Holdren has been married since 1966 to Dr. Cheryl Holdren, a biologist, and together they have a son, a daughter, and 5 grandchildren. Dr. Holdren has been very supportive of what we are doing here at Georgia Tech. He's familiar with our research and recently toured the Georgia Tech Manufacturing Institute and has participated in a roundtable discussion with several faculty members about how to make advances in innovation and technology. We're tremendously grateful for his support of science and technology funding during this challenging budgetary time, and especially those of us here at Georgia Tech, the institution which graduates more engineers than any other university in the country, and what we are doing to strengthen the STEM workforce in this country. The Institute has been a key contributor to the Nation of Making movement and the establishment of the White House Maker Fairs. We appreciate Dr. Holdren's support in those endeavors and are honored to have him back here with us tonight as our commencement speaker. Please join me in welcoming Dr. John P. Holdren, Assistant to the President and Director of the White House Office of Science and Technology.
Well, President Peterson, Provost Bross, graduates, family, friends, and of course the distinguished George P. Burdell. He's here somewhere. It's a special privilege for me to have both preceded and followed my boss, President Obama, in visits to Georgia Tech. I visited, as President Peterson just mentioned, I visited the campus in December 2014. President Obama spoke in this very room in March 2015 and touched some of the same themes that I will mention tonight. And it's a particular honor for me to be here to help celebrate the new recipients of graduate degrees from this great institution. And what a great institution it is. As President Peterson already mentioned, Georgia Tech awards more engineering degrees than any other school in the country. But more importantly, I think, it awards more engineering degrees to women than any other school in the country. Georgia Tech is the top producer of undergraduate degrees in engineering for all minority students. It's #1 in the nation in doctoral degrees in engineering to all minorities, as well as in doctoral degrees in engineering to African Americans in particular. You have the #1 ranked programs in the country in industrial engineering at both the undergraduate and graduate levels, and you have the #2 ranked programs in aerospace engineering, both graduate and undergraduate. And your lacrosse team is undefeated. Of course, as great as Georgia Tech is, I know how pleased your graduate degree recipients must be, and in many cases how pleased your families must be that you are leaving the place. After all, your leaving opens the possibility that for the first time, your exceptional talents will be bringing money in faster than it flows out. But I will get a little more serious here. We do science and engineering, and we celebrate science and engineering, not just as ways to earn a living, but because they are meaningful and relevant. Fundamental science, striving to add to humanity's cumulative understanding of the laws of nature and how they shape our world and our interactions with it, striving to know, is meaningful. It is, in a way, the most human of pursuits. We don't call our species Homo sapiens by accident. And applying fundamental understandings from science to solve practical problems, to improve the human condition, including by fashioning technologies to advance practical aims, that is relevant. I want to spend most of my time this evening talking about what some of the most important of those practical challenges are for science and engineering, both nationally and globally, what the obstacles are to meeting those challenges, and what we as scientists and engineers can do to improve the odds of success. The national challenges for which science and engineering are indispensable include providing for job creation and sustainable economic growth, delivering health care that provides better outcomes for more Americans at lower costs, modernizing our energy systems to provide more affordable, more reliable, and higher efficiency energy with lower impacts on air, water, and global climate, building preparedness and resilience against changes in climate that can no longer be avoided, managing under a changing climate the growing demands on water, land, biodiversity, and ecosystem services, creating materials from abundant elements that can substitute for materials containing scarce ones, and of course, providing the tools to ensure that our armed forces, our homeland defenders, and our first responders have what they need to succeed, whatever the challenge. At the same time, collectively, as a global community, we need to do our best to defeat preventable and pandemic diseases worldwide, to eradicate poverty and provide the possibility of sustainable prosperity for all, to maintain the ecological integrity and productivity of the oceans, to develop the technologies to send humans to Mars and beyond, and bring them back if they want. I recall Elon Musk's comment that he wanted to die on Mars, but not on impact. We need to figure out how to defend the planet from killer asteroids, thus establishing once and for all that we're smarter than the dinosaurs, most of which were exterminated 65 million years ago by a 10-kilometer asteroid that struck the Earth with the energy of 60 million 1-megaton bombs. That's right, that's 60 million megatons. Look it up. And finally, speaking of hydrogen bombs, we need to figure out how to prevent nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction from ever being used. The solution to which, obviously, is partly a matter of politics, but also a matter of science and engineering. With respect to our national and global capacities to adequately harness science, engineering, and innovation to these noble purposes, there are both significant obstacles and immense opportunities. Let me start with the obstacles. The most expeditious development and application of the needed science, engineering, and innovation are being impeded by 5 unfortunate and unfortunately widespread circumstances. The first is an inadequate appreciation by policymakers of the crucial importance of investments in basic research, the essential seed corn from which future applied advances will grow. This inadequate appreciation is even leading in some countries to a misguided insistence by political figures that all government research projects must be justified by reference to specific expected benefits to the economy or national security. Basic research cannot and should not need to meet such conditions. The second obstacle is the difficulty of maintaining steady, never mind growing, funding for any R&D efforts, whether basic research or applied research or development, amidst the vagaries of year-to-year budget cycles and changes in government. Some way to protect R&D budgets from irrational fluctuations simply must be found. The third obstacle is the degree of separation of fields of knowledge into traditional disciplines: physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, electrical and mechanical and aerospace and industrial engineering, economics, political science, and more. A separation that characterizes too much of what is done in our colleges and universities, and also too much, I think, of what is done in industrial research labs and science and technology-oriented government agencies. In industry and government, this separation is described as stovepiping, although its defenders prefer the term cylinders of excellence. But the facts are, first, that most of the national and global challenges I listed a few moments ago cannot be understood, never mind solved, without the help of insights from multiple disciplines, from the natural sciences to engineering to the social sciences. And second, that more and more of the most exciting discoveries and inventions germane to meeting these challenges are coming from the integration of disciplines in creative ways, sometimes termed convergence. The fourth obstacle is the set of challenges along the path from discovery and invention to widespread and useful application in society. Obstacles ranging from lack of financing for the demonstration and early commercialization steps on that path to lack of understanding of user needs, markets, and marketing by those who made the discoveries or inventions. And the fifth and perhaps most fundamental obstacle is the widespread inadequacy of STEM education. More broadly, inspiration, opportunity, teaching, and mentoring in science, technology, engineering, and math, from preschool to grad school to communication about science and technology with the wider public. That broad inadequacy inevitably leads to fewer scientific breakthroughs and transformative technological innovations than we'd otherwise have. It leads to a workforce in which too many lack the technical skills that 21st century jobs increasingly demand. And it leads to low scientific and technological literacy in the public at large. That last shortfall is a growing handicap in democracies where public opinion matters, given that more and more of the issues before our elected decision makers have significant scientific or technological aspects. But now to the opportunities. A number of positive trends point to improving prospects for bringing science, engineering, and innovation successfully to bear on our societal challenges. And I'm very happy to note that your institution, Georgia Tech, has been and remains a leader among American universities in demonstrating the power of these trends by embodying them in its teaching, its research, and its engagement with the wider world. I'm going to spend a few moments describing the main positive trends, how the Obama administration and Georgia Tech, separately and often together, have been driving them forward. First, new frontiers of innovation are opening up at the intersections of scientific and engineering subjects that previously proceeded in largely separate disciplinary compartments. Advances at the intersection of nanoscience, biotechnology, and information technology come to mind, and at the intersection of engineering and medicine, and at the intersection of high-performance computing, data visualization, and neuroscience. The whole domain of big data and big data analytics is poised to revolutionize many domains of both research and practical application. President Obama's American Innovation Strategy, first released in September 2009 and updated several times since, has had as one of its main themes the promotion of multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary research. And the administration has launched major initiatives in big data, mapping and visualizing the workings of the human brain, combating antibiotic resistance, precision medicine, strategic computing for science, the economy, and security, and climate change mitigation, adaptation, and negotiation, linking natural science, engineering, and social science. Georgia Tech's commitment to interdisciplinary approaches to big challenges is exemplified in the theme, Creating the Next. That is described in Georgia Tech's own literature as, quote, unbound by silos, limitations, expectations, or stereotypes, close quote, and it's focused on the next technologies for vaccines, for medical diagnostics, for robots, for cybersecurity, and much more. Georgia Tech's Sam Nunn School of International Affairs sits squarely at the multidisciplinary intersection of science, engineering, and international relations and policy. Named for the distinguished former senator from Georgia, whom I'm honored to call a friend, the school harnesses Georgia Tech's remarkable capabilities across all of the relevant disciplines to advance global development and security. And Georgia Tech has been and is a participant in most, maybe all, of the Obama administration's interdisciplinary initiatives I mentioned a moment ago, plus some others, the materials genome, smart cities, and more. Second positive trend. Around the world, all of us are getting better at building and exploiting partnerships for science, technology, and innovation. Partnerships across agencies within our governments, across levels of government, national, regional, and local. Partnerships linking businesses, universities, government, and civil society organizations, and partnerships among nations. All such partnerships have the benefit of sharing costs and risks, as well as diverse, relevant expertise and insights. And the partnerships linking business, academia, and government have the further benefit of helping with the challenge of translating discoveries in the laboratory into applications benefiting society. Promoting such partnerships has been another major theme of the Obama innovation strategy. Domestically, the Advanced Manufacturing Partnership, the National Network for Manufacturing Innovation with 8 centers in operation and 7 more to come this year, the 5 energy innovation hubs, and more, all linking industry, universities, and national labs in ways that exploit the comparative advantages of all 3. Internationally, the now well-established Clean Energy Research Center with China and the emergent counterpart with India, or placing science, technology, and innovation at the center of USAID's development strategy, or building up our nuclear safety cooperation with Japan and China, to name just a subset. Georgia Tech, for its part, runs one of the oldest university-based incubators in the country, the Advanced Technology Development Center, has been a key participant in the Advanced Manufacturing Partnership, with your president, Bud Peterson, chairing the steering committee. And Georgia Tech is a longtime leader in the international experience it provides for a remarkable fraction of its students. Third, we are learning in the United States that giving our doctoral students and postdocs in science and engineering some training in how to be successful tech entrepreneurs, that is, training in the disciplines and skills needed to convert their own discoveries into marketable products, is a great help in speeding up the pace of societally meaningful innovation. NSF's I-Corps program, standing for Innovation Corps, provides NSF-supported graduate and postdoc students with training in these entrepreneurial skills, increasing the chances that they will participate in the translation of their own research into widely beneficial applications. And that program has been so successful at NSF that it's now being replicated at the National Institutes of Health. Georgia Tech was one of the first I-Corps nodes. It has run hundreds of faculty and students through its entrepreneurial discovery courses. Fourth, we're starting to make real progress in understanding how to improve our performance in the all-important domain of STEM education. This involves moving away from lecture-based instruction to active learning, demonstrating the relevance of science and math to real-world issues that young people are interested in, problem-solving in groups, learning through appropriately crafted video games, early engagement in real research projects, and use of technologies like 3D printing to get young people making things. It also involves reaching out to inspire and providing education and training in STEM to groups that have been traditionally underrepresented in STEM fields, most notably women and girls and minorities. When we fail to include these segments of our populations, which brim with talent and energy but have been discouraged by lack of access to inspiration, role models, mentoring, and tools, and sometimes by prejudice and discrimination, they miss out on the opportunity of rewarding careers as scientists, engineers, high-tech entrepreneurs, and technicians, and society fails to get the contributions that these individuals could have made. In the Obama administration, an initiative called Educate to Innovate, launched in September 2009, now has more than $1 billion in support from the private sector and the philanthropic sector to bring participating scientists, engineers, and mathematicians into K-12 classrooms and provide the mentoring, the role models, and the excitement of careers in science and engineering to kids who are at the stage of their lives when they're deciding what they're going to do. Change the equation. 100 CEOs participating in a program to enliven math teaching at the K-12 level. 100K in 10, a program to train 100,000 new high-quality STEM teachers at the K-12 level in 10 years. Or the STEM Master Teacher Corps. And the STEM Inclusion Initiative, the College Opportunity Initiative, all aimed at addressing this set of STEM challenges. As for Georgia Tech, its leadership in this space has already been mentioned in the statistics that I cited at the beginning. And it is such a leader in this space that I have to say, I think that's one of the reasons that President Obama came to address folks in this same room. Altogether, there is no question that the Obama administration could not have found a better party, a better partner for the demonstration of the priorities that we have been trying to advance on the ground, in the classroom, in the real world than Georgia Tech. Let me, with that, conclude these remarks by congratulating the new graduates, wishing you all success in creating the next, and go Jackets. Thank you.